Oh yeah, I'm getting shouted at because I haven't posted a link. There we go. There we go. Oh my god. There we go. Oh, here we go. We are getting underway. So, hello everyone, and welcome back to OBF1. You join myself and Mitch for round 11 of the OBF1 Friday Night Championship, and what a race we have on our hands tonight. We head to the home of Formula 1 and to Simply Perfection. That's right, we travel to the UK and to Silverstone for tonight's British Grand Prix. One of Formula 1's most historic circuits, and one that we'll see on the calendar until at least 2024. We certainly love to see it. I'm Zach Sweeney, and accompanying me tonight is once again Mitch, who will be your commentators for tonight. So Mitch, how do things shape up coming into tonight? Definitely is, and Silverstone does always provide with its very just it has all the right ingredients for perfect racing. Long DRS zones, we've got the very heavy braking zones of such as actually we don't have too heavy braking zones, but we do certainly have nice flowing corners, of course, down the back straight, just coming off Chapel down towards Stowe. Stowe is a very nice corner to go side by side, and it really does promote some good racing. So hopefully we can see a lot of it tonight, and it's a very good track to qualify on as well, and we could see some really fast times, maybe into the likes of some 26s maybe. Yeah, exactly. Respect always is one thing. It's an ongoing debate, really, in motorsport in general. How much respect do you give the person on the outside, and how far can you draw the line? Of course, it is very tempting if they're on the outside to just say, well, that's your fault if you're going to keep it there. But hopefully the majority of the people today are more in the spirit of putting on a good show, and have the mutual respect for each other to give us that good show. Of course, we've had the likes of Jim, Harv and Max fighting tirelessly throughout the entire season, and Jim, since he's joined, has only failed to finish on the podium once, so he's really shown some good pace. At the moment, we've got a few people out on track. Firkin in the Haas, who I believe is his first race tonight. I don't really recognise the name, so it'll be interesting to see how he fares tonight. Yeah, exactly. One of the tightest grids I've ever seen is the OBF1 Friday night, guys. We've had incredibly close qualifying, and it's a very tough environment to thrive in. But as he comes towards Abbey, completely flat out there, no questions asked, and then through Farm and up towards Village. Got to really get the anchors down to third gear, short shift up, and then into the loop. Goes a little bit deep, misses the apex by about a country mile, but it's all good. And then flat coming on to the Wellington? No, this is the way. I'm not too entirely sure, but Wellington, yeah, down towards Brooklands, and then fourth gear, clipped that apex really nicely, hooked up from Falconer and into Luffield. Long sweeping right hander, really got to tuck it in third gear and hope that the throttle is enough to get you around through Woodcote and up towards Copse. Completely flat out. If you can hook it up right, just get that curb on the inside, nab it, and then run it all the way to the outside and then towards Magnuson Beckett. What a sequence of corners this is. Flat, just a lift and a couple of downshifts, maybe a dab on the brakes, and then in towards Chapel, fifth gear, DRS open. Now down towards Stowe, all the way to the left hand side already. Firkin really swinging the car over, using the full extent of the track, looking out for that curb, braking just as it starts, down to sixth gear, then completely flat, a little bit wide, and that is a very easy mistake to do. Definitely. 27.1 as well. It wasn't that bad of a time that he set, but he needs to go again. The main worry probably, pardon me, is going to be the ERS, but KVDPR 26.7, so already setting it high and half. Wow. Well, I said 26 is what we were aiming for. He smashed that by about pretty much 2 seconds there. That is an incredible lap. 24.7 for his first lap. It's going to be a tough one to beat. Yeah, exactly, and everyone's fun, and anywhere in between we've got a massive range of times at the moment, spreading about 3 seconds back to Broke Gorilla, but Short Marcus selling himself in nicely. Short Marcus is an incredible driver, as well as Callum Jones. Both Mercedes really, they never set things alike, they never set the time sheets alike, but they always do enough. And wow, Max, well, I've set a statement. Max just shut him up there with going just under a tenth faster, so already shaping up to be a good one at the front. We've still got Jonathan Cox and Jim, who's on the medium tyres coming through Stowe now. Let's see what he can do, whether he's on a good lap or just a banker lap time trying to get himself acclimatised. But into Vale, Jim, he's always been there in qualifying. I don't think he's ever set quite the fastest time, but across the line at 25.2, only 6 tenths off on the medium. Not a bad time at all from him. No, definitely not. Really not a bad effort from Jim. Of course, if you are new, the softs are the fastest ones because they have the softest rubber. They give the most grip, but over the shortest duration of time. The mediums are slightly slower, but go slightly longer. And then, of course, the white wall hard tyres go the longest, but also are the slowest. So, yeah, that's a nice, decent lap time from Jim to be on the slower tyre. Kieran Rees as well has gone pretty unnoticed with his time on the mediums, 26.3. Not a bad effort at all in the McLaren. Again, the McLarens also really do set themselves in, and when the front guys sort of knock themselves off a little bit, he's always one to pick up the pieces. Jonathan Cox as well set some really good pace in Austria last week and having a really impressive debut, so he's going to be looking to carry that momentum and carry that speed forward and stay, wouldn't you say? That is, yeah, indeed. Just beating Jim by around about a tenth, and well, pretty much a tenth dead on 102. he beat Jim by. But yeah, really set himself in nicely. And as you say about Jonathan, going to want to come in today and really establish himself amongst the front, and only a few tenths off. So as the track gets better, as himself gets better, he's always going to want to find a little bit of time in himself. And it's going to be a good fight for pole. And Jim now has gone in and he's selected the soft compound tyre for his next run, which is interesting. Still quite a few people ready to set a lap. Yeah, still waiting for a few people. Very easy track is Silverstone to cut. We saw, of course, Verken on his first lap going a little bit wide at Stowe and invalidating, but that is an incredible lap. He's gone even quicker as Max. It's 24.4, so edging himself further and further away from half, just finding more speed in himself. He is. He's very much always sets himself up well in qualifying. Not always on pole, but definitely always within a couple of tenths. You can bet that much. And just going for a longer run on his first set of softs, trying to acclimatise himself to the circuit. And as you say, there's no doubt in my mind that he's going to find even more time. Harv is already out on his outlap for his second run. 8 minutes left to go in this session. And he's going to want to respond to that. Around about 2.5 tenths he needs to find to close the gap to Max. There's no doubt he should be able to do it. A lot of people's home race tonight at Silverstone, a very British orientated grid, and they're all going to be wanting to do it for the home fans. I'm sure there's Jim just moving out of the way for Denmark there, who is still yet to set a lap. He's still racing the slowest of the bunch to have set a lap time, but on the medium tyre, and well, if he's got people behind him, you can, well, sure as hell bet that they're going to stay behind Pistol in the race. Well, he always does. Here's Harv now starting his next lap. Again, just needs to really hook up this lap. It's only a second one, so it's not as important, but it's always nice to just find that little bit more time, give yourself that little bit more confidence coming into your final run. So he's got 3 sets of soft to use, 1 set of medium, provided he did choose the balanced configuration for tyres. And see what he can do down towards sector 1. The Ferrari moving out the way. What is it going to be? It's going to be a 26.7. That's going to be 200ths quicker. Not quite enough, but he's still got 2 sectors left to go. And could he do it? I mean, Harv does pull some surprises out, but at the moment Max is the one with the pace. Bit of a caution lift there, actually. Exactly that. I mean, Harv went a little bit quicker on his initial lap, a couple of tenths quicker, and it's now less than a tenth that covers the top 3. And if Jonathan Cox can get himself involved in that, it's going to be even closer. Denmark has really set himself up there as well, a 25.0, not far. So, we've got a really nice bunch of people, nice mix of people up there, and it's so close. You can see further down the field a few positions, 7th down to 10th, covered by what is that? Like fractions of seconds there. Well, from 8th down to 10th, it's pretty much all within the same tenth of a second there. So here's Rafa in the Ferrari, a couple of tenths up on his time as well. At the moment, I see him up to 8th place and only a 1 position gain. So we've got a big split in terms of pace from the front half of the grid to the rear end of the grid, but in both respective parties we've got some incredibly close times, and here's the Ferrari now through the final corner. He actually has invalidated it, which is unfortunate. But yeah, so far a really good qualifying session, and Max is getting a little bit worried now with Jim behind him. Yeah, definitely really needs to hook it up, chucking it through Stowe. An incredible corner once you hook it up, but yeah, and then instinctively just goes straight into the pits, completely flat out. But yeah, that was so far a really good lap, and he definitely showed some potential to at least put it on the second row. So KRC once again showing us what he's made of. And, I'm sure, no doubt, he's going to put on a fresh set and go with around like 3.5 minutes left of this qualifying session left to go. Yeah. I mean, it's going to be very last minute. Of course, you often do want to be the last one to go across, because theoretically you get the best track of anyone, the most rugged in, but very thin. He's going to want to get out within the next sort of 30 seconds or so, I would say. So he's leaving it very good. That is... They're going to have to topple Max, aren't they? I mean, that is, I would say, Max's best effort done, unless he trundles it round and gets another lap in on this same set. But that is an incredible lap. We've got Jim setting himself up now nicely in the Renault. He's around 3.5 tenths-ish to topple Max, and getting himself into the 23s would be a good way to do so. Jim now coming through the final corner. He's got Kieran Rees in his way, but he's got now about 15 corners to try and prove that he can break himself and topple Max in pole position. Certainly so, but that's first sector so far. It's looked really hooked up. Short Marcus getting himself into the 24s now and up into the top 4. Harb finally on his outlap. All 3 of them now coming out. They've did it very late though, so there's going to be fine lines. A little bit deep from Jim coming into Brooklands. He's going to have to make it all up through Luffield and for the remainder of the lap. He hooks up Luffield up really nicely, uses all the track on the exit, really got to hook it up, and then through Woodcote, shortest run as you can, go 2ers over that white line, and then come in towards Cobbs, use the curb, open up the corner, chuck it in, completely flat there from Jim, very nicely done through Cobbs, and now towards Mags and Beckett's. Flat hook that curb, just to dab on the brakes, down 2 gears, and then again on the same for the next flick to the right-hander. DRS open, how much has he improved by? He's actually not improved, he's down by around a tenth, so it's not looking good for Jim. 4 tenths in the final sector, well in fact 5 tenths in the final sector to make up for the tenth that he is down through Stowe. It's not looking good for Jim, I'm afraid. He's probably going to have to aim to try and solidify P2 with Harv, Short Marcus, Jonathan and KRC all behind. Now through the final corner of Club. Yeah, it's going to be slower, so Jim not looking too good there. He's going to have the opportunity to go again, but what can Harv, Short Marcus and more importantly KRC can do, because he's the man with the potential at the moment. No, Harvey's been allowed to go for his lap, so whether that's a timing glitch or what have you is certainly not applicable here, and KRC's gone for another lap as well, so yeah, this is looking just... Yeah, same here. I believe the checker flag will be out in the next couple of seconds or so, but definitely at the end of this lap. Was half done to the first sector though. He's around about 600ths up on his original time, and that is looking good. What about KRC down in P8? He's 2/10 up to the first sector on his original time, but gets a little bit tight through Luffield, so has to really go in deep and then hook it back to get a good enough exit to be competitive. There we go. There's the checker flag now, and Jonathan Cox 10th up on his time and hasn't yet breached into the 2024, so over 9/10 he needs to make up. There's 4/10, but he has invalidated his... Yeah, so that is a big shame. That is half, that's invalidated as well through Magnussen Beckett. Really hasn't cut that nicely, but he might be kind enough to give his teammate a bit of a tow down this back straight. 6/10 up is KRC, half now moving out of the way, give him a nice little slipstream. It's all or nothing now for KRC. Through Stowe, 6th gear, hook it up completely flat on the exit, use the curb, and now towards Vale, brake at the start of the curb, down to 3rd gear, hook that inside, 4th gear, short shift, feet so gentle on the throttle, through Pug, and across the line. It's a really good effort. 2nd place and in the front row. Yeah, definitely agree. He always likes to be in control of the race. We've seen even at tracks where it's particularly favourable to be in the tow, he likes to be in front and taking control to control the pace, control what he can do. So he's definitely going to be looking to do that and start from pole position. He's got the best opportunity to do that. Very consistent as well. He's got a really aggressive driving style, but it really does work. You can put a 50p coin on almost every apex and he'd hit them lap in, lap out. So Max drives that car as if it's on rails, lap in, lap out. Very, very consistent driver. So pole position is going to be a very deadly position for him to start. So KRC and Jim and Harv all need to make sure that they get a good enough start to give him a bit of a headache, at least for the first half of the race, because if not, it's going to be a very dominant win for Max. Yeah, definitely will. Yeah, it's certainly interesting, but Max does take pole ahead of KRC and Jim rounds off the top 3. Harv on the 2nd row, as well as Short Marcus rounding off the top 5. Jonathan in P6, Denmark P7, Chris in P8, Remax P9, Kieran rounding off the top 10, and everyone down below, as you say, will get a free choice of tyres, so don't count them out. Ratho probably in probably the best position of the midfield to maybe score himself a P6 or 7 to have those fresh tyres. I would definitely say soft to medium is the strategy, going around about maybe 10 on the softs and then the rest on the mediums. It is definitely doable. Silverstone doesn't really have that high of a tyre wear rate, and if you touch the hards, it might not be as favourable for you. Definitely, we definitely some weird weather coming from the UK. Learned about it in geography, in fact. 4 different weather fronts that surround the UK and 4 different air currents. So we definitely get a wide variety of weather. So anything can happen. Do not count it out at Silverstone. But it does look pretty sunshine at the moment. Still a little bit of cloud up in the sky, but who knows? Over the next around about 40 minutes. 26 laps, 27 including this formation one, led by Max, who's going to really want to get himself these tyres warmed up. And Majority of the people outside the top 10 have opted for the softs, apart from Callum, CDM and Broke Gorilla. Yeah, certainly an interesting choice. Yeah, Pistol. He's one to defend. We'll have to see how he can overtake for this race and at his home circuit. He's gonna want to do it proud. 6 places till he can get himself into the top 10 and into the points. It's going to be tough, but certainly shaping up to be a good battle at the front. So long as a KRC and Jim can give Max a bit of a headache towards Abbey. Definitely not one you want to chuck up the inside, that's for sure, but definitely towards Village and Farm and onto the loop down back towards the Wellington Straight. It's going to be some good racing, I hope. But Max, yeah, he's really content at the front of the championship. No one's really managed to close the gap. He's just been on it all season long. Yeah, definitely a great atmosphere here at OBF1, no toxicity at all, great bunch of guys and a pleasure to commentate and the progress shown since its inception only a few months ago. It's mad to see the progress that's shown in such a short amount of time, but we're getting underway soon, so you definitely get a first-hand experience of some of the action you could get yourself involved in, so I hope you do all enjoy. 26 laps of Silverstone ahead of us, it's definitely looking to be good. Here we go to 5 red lights ahead of round 11. Everyone revving up. It looks as though the lobby has glitched. It's lights out, but we're not away. Still waiting, I believe, for some... There we go. Now they're revving it up. We'll soon see them go. Hopefully soon. And there we go. We are underway for round 11 at Silverstone. It's a pretty poor start for KRC. You can see he's falling down the back of the grid. So Max with a perfect start and Jim up to P2 already. Short Marcus with an incredible start up to P3. Jim braking so late, trying to close the gap to Max, who's gone in a little bit deep. So Jim trying to put the pressure on, setting up a nice little cutback now, coming back onto the Wellington Straight, and he needs to get this move done. There's yellow flags further back in sector 1. It doesn't look like the cleanest start further back, but here comes Jim. He's in the slipstream. He needs to get past Max so soon, and there's KRC trying to recover from a poor start, get himself back up the inside of Short Marcus, but not prevailing. He's under pressure from his teammate Harp. He's going to try and go around the outside. There's the Red Bull of Jonathan Cox. Very opportunistic move to send it back up the inside of the racing point there. Bit of contact as he gets a little bit squirmy on the exit of Luffield. That was a good effort from Jonathan Cox, but an ideal start from Jim. No real competition so far. No, definitely not. He needs that virtual toe hook to stay with him, and as you say, KRC and Harv need to work together. Harv putting the pressure on KRC. Both racing points with a pretty poor start, both down positions and 3 between them. So it's going to be in their best interest to try and chase back after Short Marcus and get themselves back into the top 4, because KRC is going to want to get himself on the podium. Little deep go short Marcus, but he gets a nice drive off the corner. Jim staying with Max on lap 2. And of course, as you say, when we get DRS on lap 3, it's definitely going to help him close the gap. Jim just needs to make sure he can stay with Max. Very fine lines in a second. Yeah, it's easy to lose. KRC goes a little bit deep, so Hub's going to look up the inside, but just not get the drive and get himself up. But these racing points, they need to get it together. KRC really struggling to get himself to grips in these early stages. Definitely not. Here is KRC though, not waiting around, darting to the inside, but short Marcus not having any of it, braking as late as we can. And there's the safety car with KVDPR having a bit of an off. Looks as though we've had a bit of a crash there. CDM's been involved. There's a big crash coming down towards Stowe. Not too sure what's happened here then. CDM's got his front wing off, and KVDPR is completely retired from the race, and there's a safety car. So maybe side by side through Chapel, and it's just not ended well on the exit. But you can see Jonathan Cox coming in, KRC coming in, Denmark coming in, and Pistol all in, but the rest staying out. Yeah, I mean, it's certainly not ideal, and 5 seconds, a big amount of time. He's gone to the hards, which is interesting. So definitely looking to go long. Whether he can go to the end, that's another story. But the majority of the grid deciding to stick on strategy, which, to be honest, I would definitely agree with. Staying on strategy at the moment. It's not like it's close-ish to a pit window that you can get away with it. It's very much at the start of the race, so. Yeah, they're gonna stick it out for this one, but if KRC can make it work, no reason why not. And he's gonna have his work cut out for him as well. He's gonna need to get those hard tyres turned on and get them going, as well as get himself back through a already tight midfield. Yeah, it's gonna be a bit of pressure. Yeah, I mean, looking maybe to go slightly longer, put the softs on towards the end if there is another safety car. But as you say, they're certainly not going to the end of those medium tyres. So maybe he knows something that we don't. The mediums, I would definitely go for the mediums over the hards in this situation. So yeah, he's going to be a little bit quicker than KRC in front and be able to get himself through a lot more efficiently, and then maybe pit around the same time the soft runners are in, or just a little bit after, and then go to the softs towards the end. So he's still in a good position and showed some good pace and quality too. A very long pit lane, and it's very slow as well. Certainly, hard tyres are going to be only magnified exaggerated slower because of their much harder nature. The hards never really do work at Silverstone, but if KRC can make them work, then certainly so. But safety car is in this lap. We're all bunched up and ready to go. So Max takes the effective safety car roll, weaving around. You can see getting that last bit of heat into the tyres, making sure he can get a good enough restart. And Jim is going to try and take the most off this opportunity, capitalise this opportunity to put some more pressure on Max. And he needs to make sure he gets a good restart to put the pressure on. Lap 4 of 26. We're going to be going green for the start of lap 5. The safety car is in, so the safety car light will be turned off. So Max has full jurisdiction to go between now and the timing line. And Jim, you can see, already wants to get going, but he wants to follow him close in case Max does punch it now. He's going to react. Here we go. Is Max going to punch it? Yes, he has. And we're back on the green flag racing, and Jim has followed him very nicely there. He's reacted really nicely. There's short Marcus off into the wall off the restart. He's retired from the session off the bat, and that is already could be another safety car. Probably won't be, but short Marcus, yeah, really not ideal with a safety car restart for him. But Jim putting the pressure on Max. He needs to make sure he gets this done soon, and Harv as well getting in on the fight. So very, very close top 3 off the restart. Just a big shame for short Marcus. Bit too confident on the loud pedal coming off club. Yeah, exactly, but very wide. Those mistakes from Jim aren't going to help at all. He's already burnt through half his battery, as has Max, to try and defend it. It's so crucial that he stays as close as he can. Max gone a little bit deep, so this is going to allow Jim to maybe close up a little bit. 6 tenths is the gap at the moment. Denmark has had a bit of a spin, so someone we saw that could potentially have been interesting has found himself spinning off, and as well as CDM in a similar place he did before the restart. So CDM and Denmark not having the best of days today either. Any action going on further down? We've got Kieran Rees well established in the midfield. Very, very tight midfield at the moment. Womax up to P4. I'm not too sure where he did start. He's up 5 places, and Golden Wolf up 11, so in a really good position is the Alfa Romeo today. Up in P7, he's not going to be too disappointed with this if he can bring it home. Yeah, exactly, going to bring it home, and if he can do so, I mean, he's got his teammate right behind him. Well, I say right, he's about 6 tenths behind, but very deep from Brake Gorilla. Could see the likes of Furkan, who's driving really well as well in P9 for his debut on a Friday. Not going too well at all, but now the second lap of the restart. 8 tenths is the gap between Max and Jim, so still definitely the potential for DRS on the next lap. There is another off, that's Callum Jones that has gone off at Luffield. Got again a bit too confident on the loud pedal. We're going to have to rejoin there. Here's Rafa on the back of his teammate Crystal Racing, up 4 places and now chasing after KRC. He's gone onto the hard tyres as well as Crystal, so interesting strategy, but he's definitely keeping the pace. 100%. KRC getting himself past Furkan, going into Vale, following Jonathan Cox through. There is Kieran Rees again having another off, coming on towards the loop. Very easy mistake to do, but as you say, yeah, but in no man's land for Jim at the moment, and for Harv, who are just short of Max, but that's the crucial time. You don't want to lose it, but Max has burnt through most of his energy. Still very much alive as this race, but Jonathan Cox, the leader of this hard assault, coming through. The Alfa Romeo is going side by side. Here's Brake Gorilla getting himself up the inside of of Golden Wolf and Jonathan Cox sweeping underneath both of them. They're going to be 3 abreast towards Cox. Who's going to back out of this one? Certainly isn't going to be Jonathan Cox. And there's KRC going to try and follow him through. Very wide over there is Golden Wolf. He's going to be plummeting down the order side by side. Go KRC and Broke Gorilla. He's not going to be fighting that one too harshly. So KRC really using Jonathan Cox to get himself through here. Really intelligent racecraft to just let Jonathan do all the work for him. He sent them both wide and he managed to get himself underneath. But here comes Broke Gorilla, maybe to launch a counter attack. Probably not in his best interest to do so though. So KRC cutting through the field as well as Jonathan Cox. Certainly so. Here's Pistol going for a nice little dummy move down the inside of turn 3 on Firkin, who's going to go for a nice little switchback, still on the outside and having a little look into the loop, but Pistol up into the top 10 now and able to chase after Golden Wolf, who's still in the top 10, well in the top 10, P9. So still looking good. Here comes Firkin coming back at Pistol, looking for the outside, going to the inside. There's contact for the rear diffuser. He's come back onto the track as Pistol. He's luckily managed to stay alive. No, he hasn't. He's retired from the session, went straight on. That's a VSC being brought out there. Very strange incident there as Firkin went to the outside, looked to the inside, tapped the rear diffuser, and Pistol just went really wide. Tried to bring it back onto the track, smashed into the side of Firkin, and that is brought out the VSC on lap 8. So yeah, a lot of yellow flags. 3 retirements now, so not the best, and Firkin's going to have to probably hold his hand up and say sorry for that one, I would say. Definitely so, and interesting to note, Max might have got held up a little bit because Jim's really closed up to the back of him. He saved up a nice chunk of ERS as well. He's going to have DRS, and this is the chance Jim was waiting for. He needs to launch this attack now while he's got the chance, but Max just got enough to hang on. He is closing his Jim, but it's not going to be enough towards Brooklands, so he needs to stay with him as much as he can. This is his silver lining, this is his hope to try and recover in this race, and they both need to cut through the field. Max has only got a couple of seconds to Denmark in front. Little mistakes like that from Jim are going to cost him. Definitely really going to help him in his pursuit, but half gone to the hard, very interestingly so. But yeah, mediums to the end, and that VSC was very nicely timed for the leaders. Probably coincided really nicely with their strategy anyway. And Jim going to try and get as close as he can to Max, but again just hasn't got enough in him to close the gap down this back straight towards Stowe. He is closing, but again not enough. And is the toe hook enough? He needs to save a little bit more ERS and give it everything he can. Firkin with a 5-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane. They're both closing up to Denmark, so maybe Denmark could give Jim a bit of a helping hand. Oh, Jim! Well, that was a massive moment there. Sorry to butt in, but Jim just had a massive moment. How he held that, I'm not too sure, but he's going to have to hope that Denmark gets held up by Max. Max gets held up a bit by Denmark here if he wants to close the gap. Yeah, that was a nice sporting move from Denmark. Knew he wasn't in that race, as now Max makes light work of Ratho, and still Jim needs to close the gap and maybe go for it into Stowe. He is closing, he knows he needs to go for it, looks, and he is just going to drive up the inside. Ratho turning out of the corner to just let him have that. So you can see Jim has fire in his eyes. He knows how crucial it is to make these moves, and willing to put it all on the line like that, sending to Stowe. Just has to give it everything he can to stay in the DRS. He knows how crucial it is. He knows how slippery Max is, and if he lets him, if he just blinks, takes his eye off him for 1 second, he's going to be a couple of seconds up the road. Definitely so, and as the car gets lighter, of course, they're going to be around about 100 kilos lighter by the time they get to lap 26 with the whole fuel situation, so it definitely does become a little bit more nimble. So Jim's car could like the lighter fuel, could like the more race-orientated setups. As you say, he's definitely holding a lot better on to Max in this stint, and he's sieging him out a little bit as well. You notice Max burnt through a lot more of energy. And Jim's definitely going to be looking out for that red light flashing on the rear diffuser with Max to tell him that he's running out of energy, having to conserve, and that's when he's probably going to push the button. He just needs to make sure he can maximise every bit he can and minimise the mistakes, because that is definitely going to be the deciding factor in this one. They're so close on pace in this bit of stint. Yeah, definitely so. Max 10 seconds back on them, and still KRC on the back of Jonathan. So interesting to see how they go. 10 seconds and around about 15 laps of this race to go. Those hard tyres, will they go to the end? That is going to be the deciding question, whether these guys come in again, and if they do, how quickly can Max close up. And he's going to bring Jim with him as well. Jim well and truly stuck in the DRS and coming with him. So KRC and Jonathan Cox probably both know in their best interest. They've both got penalties. They're both on the weaker strategy potentially, that they just need to work together. They don't want to fight this one too harshly. Yeah, exactly that. Use each other, similar to how KRC was using Jonathan earlier in the race, but I would say it's slightly different in Jim's case, because he knows how crucial it is, how quick Max is if he doesn't take an opportunity. If there's an open door, Jim needs to take it, otherwise he might not get another one towards the end. He's running very fine lines, so he needs to take every bit of an open that he can get. So if Jim sees one, I'm sure he's going to take it, regardless of how quickly they can catch the guys at the front. I'm sure he's confident. They only need around about 4 seconds because of the 2 penalties at the front. But now Jonathan Cox closing onto the back of Chris and needs to get his way through. Chris going really long in these soft tyres. Is it now only hurting him? He's not going to gain too much now on the thing. That is the thing. You're going to gain with having the fresher tyres, but you're also going to lose a lot more by sticking out on the older tyres. So it's a big gamble, definitely. There he is, yeah. Yeah, definitely he's going to be one of the one to know more than us. If he wants to go hard and is confident in these medium tyres, wants to really push him to the end without having to worry, he's going to come up just behind Rumax, in fact. So still going to come out in P8, so some good points there on offer. Here's Jonathan Cox having to fight with KRC now, side by side they go through Luffield. Jonathan Cox just about hanging on with KRC there. There's yellow flags for sector 3. I believe that's more just to do with a slow moving car than anything, but KRC, a good effort, but Jonathan Cox just hanging on, and we were completely wrong. They're not working together at all. KRC wants to get himself through, and when Max and Jim comes up, he wants to be the lead car and let Jonathan Cox maybe be in mobile chicane and postpone the inevitable maybe. Yeah, exactly that. KRC not squandering at all for an opportunity, as well as Max, who still hasn't been able to quite close up. Max, neither of them really conserving energy either. Maybe Jim has picked himself up a 3-second penalty as well, pushing that hard and just a little bit of a cut through Abbey. So Max definitely got the mental and physical advantage in this. He's got the pace and he's got the psychological advantage over Jim now. He knows he's got 3 seconds in hand and he knows he can just chill. Maybe Jim should just back off for a couple of laps, save some energy, then push the button, go backwards to go forwards in a sense, and that could definitely work. But he's sticking with Max very nicely and ready to pick up any mistake, but be very uncharacteristic if we see Max make a big impact by a mistake. He has, yeah, and it's more just pressure alleviated off his shoulders. Of course, Max will be looking in his mirrors, worrying about Jim. There's another spin. CDM has gone off just after Luffield, but he's going to be falling himself outside the top 10. So some big mistakes have cost some people some good points there. CDM definitely had a good opportunity for some. But going back to Jim, being behind, he would at least showing Max that he wasn't going anywhere. He could still stay with there. The 3-second penalty just gives the psychological advantage back to Max, and Max very much in control of this, chasing after him 6.7 seconds, and without a penalty, quick look, yeah, 5 seconds and 3 seconds, so they don't even need to make it all the way in order to make an overtake, so about half the distance back. It won't be too long until they're net overtaking them, and of course not on track, but on time. But yeah, broke Willer into the pit lane as well, maybe pick up some damage, so that is going to promote CDM back into the top 10, so it will still be a double point score for Renault at the moment. So far no action in the midfield, it's all eyes at the front, as the two charging tyrants of Max and Jim chase after KRC and Jonathan Cox towards the closing stage of this race. Let's see the end of the 3-second penalty as well. Yeah, exactly that. They don't have enough. KRC, he's got a little bit of VRS to use, so he's got that in hand, but definitely in the case of Jim and Max, they run out of VRS too quickly to really be able to benefit from it, and he's not quick enough where he needs to be quick. He needs to maximise those exits, such as the one off the loop coming off there. There's a massive yellow flag. That looks like CDM has spun coming on to Schaffen again. The safety car at this stage in the race would really spice things up, wouldn't it? That would give KRC and Jonathan Cox a free pit stop to come out and have some fresh tyres and be on equal pegging with Max and Jim. but it doesn't look like it so far, and Cillian's managed to get himself going, but it would be a very interesting prospect. Chris now closing up to Rumex, so he's using that place to go first. Oh, so there is a safety car. Yeah, it's not something we've had to see. No, definitely not, and it's really throwing this race into turmoil as well, really going to spice things up in the front. You could see Jonathan Fox nearly going into the back of the Renault there, and it's not majorly going to help his teammate either, so it couldn't have really been a crash gate. Of course, Renault are pretty renowned for putting their cars into walls to cause safety cars. I remember back to Singapore in 2009, I believe, but who are going to come into the pits? Jonathan Fox and KRC are both in, but these two are staying out. Yeah, true, actually. In fact. Oh, that is an incredible point. In fact, actually, he's going to get out. He's still going to be in the top 4 as well. So this is really nice for KRC at the moment, and interesting for Max and Jim to stay out. I believe Jim was definitely going to follow whatever Max did, and if Max pit, then Jim would pit. He wants to stay with him. Maybe it would have been worth Jim doing the opposite, going for Max. He's got nothing to lose, so he might as well try something different. Exactly. There really isn't much. They definitely have the window. They've still, got 10 seconds to halve as well before they all bunch up. So they certainly have the window. Now they've got 5 cars behind him that are going to be on much better tyres to the end of the race. And they're not really going to fall off much either. The softs are really durable, so they'll comfortably go to the end of the race. It's not like the mediums will slowly become better, and they're 8 laps themselves. So Jim definitely could have done with coming in there and putting the soft tyres. Maybe scared that he can get past KRC and Jonathan very quickly and Max could get away. That could have been part of his thought process, and would have preferred to just stay with him, be safe, and stay right behind him, because we've seen that he's really good off the restart, is Jim. But yeah, we'll have to wait and see. We've got a few laps of this race remaining, and it's all kicked off now. This is really throwing the whole race into turmoil with CDM's retirement there. Certainly so. Around about 7 laps of this race remaining. We've lost Firkin in the pit lane, so no idea why he would retire. He's got a safety car, so best opportunity to get himself back into the point if he had a bit of an off, but maybe had to go or something there. But that is definitely what CDM could have done, is retire in the pit lane instead. So nice from Firkin, nice stuff to just put into the pits and retire there. But hopefully we're going to get back to Green Flag Racing very soon. We've got a very big spread. We're waiting for Golden Wolf. He's now coming through Vale and into Club, while these guys are well into Sector 2. So they've got a big bunch to catch up to, and hopefully the safety car doesn't leave him behind. He's on the back of the safety car queue though, so he is. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's going to be quite a while. Yeah, I would imagine so. I mean, Golden Wolf, let's say, averaging around about 150, and at the front, about 80. Ooh, big slide from Max there. That was going to be his heart in his mouth. Certainly. Yeah, that is some extreme tyre warming skills, as Super GP would certainly say. Yeah, really, really lights up the race there. Yeah, definitely. They're going to be definitely questioning it. That is not the racetrack there, Jim. It's slightly a little bit off. It's a little bit quicker if you stay on the tarmac. I thought that would be common sense, but clearly not. And it's not like they can do much about it as well, because if they pit, they're not going to have much time to catch up. And because everyone's bunched up, they're going to be right at the back of the grid. So they're fully committed now. They've got to stick it. Definitely. So, I mean, the progress shown by this league, I'll always say it's been so exponential. They've really gone from nothing to everything at the moment. We've got some incredible drivers. Jonathan Cox is one that is well known amongst the league racing community. Very much has his name out there, and a very quick driver. So it's a pleasure to have him in here. We've got very quick drivers like Max and Jim as well, who have made a name for themselves amongst here. So if it is something you'd like to get yourself involved in, and you like the look of the streams, and mine and Mitch's attempt of talking you through it, then definitely do get yourself involved. We've got now 6 laps of this race remaining. Max, warming his tyres up and getting himself ready to go racing again for the final stint of this race. It's a very, very crucial stint, probably the stint of his life now if he wants to win this race, backing everyone up. We've got Jim, very, very eager to get himself going. He needs to wait. Max is backing him all the way up, you can see, waiting very long, and Jim wants to get himself going. We're back on the green flag racing. Jim has reacted very, very nicely. So is Jonathan Cox. It's KRC a little bit further back because of Callum Jones in the Mercedes. That's very wide from Jim though off the restart. That's going to invite Jonathan Cox to get himself around the outside. Jim's going to try and keep it on the inside, but very nicely done from Jonathan. He's going to look to the inside of Max there, but just a little bit too far back on this occasion, and KRC needs to get himself moving. He needs to get himself going, because he's going to find himself falling back. Already Jonathan Cox now into second place, chasing after Max. He has got a 3-second penalty. If he's made this quick of the restart already, he's got 6 laps to pull those 3 seconds. Jonathan Cox looking in a very good position, started 6th and now played strategy well. I mean, we did doubt them at the first safety car, but seemed to work out all right for them at the moment. Jonathan Cox not quite catching. He's burning through a lot of VRS to try and close the gap, as well as KRC needs to get past Jim, so it's definitely broken into 2 groups of the top 4. Jonathan is still on the back of Max, and as you say, it's going to be a task to get through. He's not going to give this one up too easily, and with his lack of penalty, he knows that he can have a little bit more in hand. At least the first lap of the restart, though, really is a master of leading restarts as Max. He always controls them to pretty much perfection. Now Harv on the back of his teammate as well, so Jim could find himself falling down towards maybe the likes of P5. KRC needs to get himself closing up. That was very close. Big lock up from KRC. That's going to invite his teammate to maybe go up the inside. Callum Jones is retired, but in the pit lane, so no safety car, thankfully. Here comes Jonathan Cox. Is he going to go for it? Not quite close enough, but it's definitely eyeing up Max. He's analysing every little bit of Max and where he can get through. Definitely is. He's really driving well. It is one thing. There's KRC, in fact, going around the outside of Jim into Stowe. He's got the fresh tyres, he's got the grip, but can Jim run him all the way to the outside? That is a brilliant move from KRC to get himself onto the podium. Now setting his eyes on Jonathan Cox, and with Max on those on those old medium tyres, sorry. Jonathan Cox going to be held up a little bit. He's driving really well, and fastest lap. Well, that is in fact coming towards Abbey. Max still setting fastest lap, so Jonathan Cox not driving particularly as well as he could. Jim looking to the inside, he wants to get himself back on the podium. KRC gives him the room. You're going to try and squeeze through and around the outside of the loop. He's not quite going to be able to do this. Going for a cutback though, he's going to have DRS, but not a lot of DRS to fight back. Yeah, nice bit of white lining from Jim there, really opportunistic stuff to find himself holding on. He's got a 3-second penalty, but he's going to be wanting to hang on to this, but definitely KRC a wasted opportunity. He needed to get past Jim and get himself set enough to Jonathan Cox. He's coming straight back at him though as KRC, deja vu, now towards Stowe, and yeah, Jim having to drive to the inside, but just though he's got the job done this time, now Jim's going to be more interested in trying to defend from half. At the front, Jonathan Cox still unable to get past Max. Maybe he hasn't got the momentum, and Max is driving really well to keep him there. And running low on ERS as well. It's not like he's got much to defend with. He's got what now? 24, 25. He's got 3 laps of this race remaining. Can he do it? Exactly, really making that Haas as wide as possible. Jonathan did have a little look towards Brooklands there. He did close up, but just wasn't enough into Brooklands there. So yeah, Max really holding on well. Jim still with KRC, putting the pressure on, and he is hanging with him, but he's not got a lot of ERS, so slowly going to start to fall backwards. So KRC recovering to a podium would probably be the best case scenario at the moment. Maybe if Max and Jonathan start battling a little bit more, we can see him. Going through all his ERS, he's wasting his advantage, and he's got the fresh soft tyres, but how much of an advantage are they giving him? He needs to really make sure he's driving to the full potential that these tyres can give him. Yeah, it showcases why he is leading the championship by over about 100 points, I believe you said. That's 4 race wins he's got in hand. So, yeah, an incredible bit of driving from Max all season long. He just hasn't got it in him, and it is looking very overcast at this point. Maybe if this race was maybe 15, oh, well, about 10 or so laps longer, we could have seen some rain, but that would have definitely thrown some things into turmoil. Onto the penultimate lap though, so it is drawing to a close. There is Harv and Jim going side by side through left field. Jim's managing to hold it around the outside and keeping his foot in. Here comes Harv to the inside of Cobbs. He's going to squeeze him all the way as Jim then pull out to the outside and go for a nice little cutback maybe into Maggots and Beckett's, but he hasn't quite got the drive. He's going to push, overtake. Harv's going to be a little bit compromised all the way through. Jim's going to have to settle in there for P5, so Jim going backwards and is going to be regretting not keeping it in. There's Chris off through Maggots and Beckett's and rejoining the track. There's a big off, unfortunately. Now as you come on to the final lap, is Jonathan Cox saving it all for this last lap to get Max when he doesn't have an opportunity to get back through. here in the dark. Done enough to just stay in there, but 2 attempts in the final sector. It could all come down to this. It's definitely a race against time between the two, but he's just about going to hang on there. Is KRC, maybe just needs to hook up Vale, make no mistakes. He's going to finish where he started, but Max across the line, have to hand it to him. Absolutely incredible drive there. He takes the win in Silverstone. Jonathan Cox in P2, and then KRC coming across the line to finish on the time machines. Jonathan Cox rounds off the podium, and Jim in P4. Denmark, a very quiet drive into P5 as well as Rumax. Are falling a little bit backwards though. Penalties definitely cost him today. Yeah, definitely. How Max hang on, I don't know. As you say, yeah, incredible stuff. And the game gives it to Gordon Wolf for driver of the day. I'm definitely giving it to Max. Pole to the win, led pretty much every lap, but that does not at all tell the whole story. He had immense pressure on that final stint from Jonathan Cox, and he drove like a champion, and goes to show why he leads the top of the standings there. And he's going to be celebrating that with some champagne. But overall, a great race. Not particularly when it comes to out-and-out wheel-to-wheel action, but the suspense and the tenseness really did give it to us all the way through, and Max takes the winner as well as fastest lap. So really good day in Silverstone for Max with KRC in P2. Jonathan Cox in P3, still a great drive to round off the podium with Jim completing the top 4. Denmark in P5, Womax P6, half P7, Chris in P8 with Golden Wolf and Broke Gorilla rounding off the top 10. Kieran P11, Ratho P12, Callum in P13, Black in P14, CDM P15, Pistol in P16, Short Marcus P17, and KVDPR rounding off the grid in P18. Quite a few retirements, but those who finished definitely did drive really well, and that is both Alfa Romeos in the points as well. Golden Wolf picking himself up a really nice top 10 finish there. Really is some good stuff. Nice to see them doing well as well. And that is it their first. I'm not too entirely sure. I'm not too entirely sure if that's their first points of the season. There's definitely some the most recent points, that's for sure. But yeah, great drive from both Alfa Romeos and a great drive from everyone overall. That is going to round up the action for today, guys. If you have enjoyed and do want to get involved, as myself and Mitch have said over the course of the stream, do make sure to get yourself involved. It's a great bunch of lads, and we'd love to have you and see what you can do out on track. But if you have enjoyed Silverstone, do make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel, and myself and Mitch will see you next time. Goodbye.